So, good evening, pirates, and welcome to TFC Open Mic. This is season 2, episode 50. So it's December mid-raid review. Good evening, panel. How are we?
Quite well, thank you.
Very good, thanks.
Just Andy.
Something Overwatch. I got to do something while my hunters heal up.
All right, I see. Okay, you can do some math, Brian. I know you've been doing some.
Oh yeah, the article just went up.
Oh, excellent. Okay, we'll have a chat about that in a second anyway. But and welcome all those in the live chat there as well. We've got quite a few people in tonight, which is a good sign that the raid is generally for most going well. I normally find if the mid raid review is going well, then we get quite a few people going onto the stream and watching. However, if people have had a bad weekend, generally it's quite quiet. So yeah, good numbers. Evening all. Right, we won't do slides as such, obviously, because it's the open mic, but we might have some stuff in the background just to help us. So, yeah, so that's our event at the moment. That's what we're all playing. So we'll start off with Rum. How's yours going, mate?
Not too bad. I don't like the damage from the hunter, but the Fangtooth is predictable as always.
Yeah, Fangtooth's quite decent, isn't it? To be honest, I think I've seen several videos up. I've seen several different ideas. The trip the boats to make them all crash into each other, which I like, and then let them neutralize themselves and go up on the top and trigger everything so it goes into a central sort of mass and then go and get out of the gluts. And I've seen that. I've seen people pick it off in sections as well. So most people do it for minimum damage.
Comment earlier that there was not very much lag and that the targets seemed to be okay, and I agree with him.
Yeah, that's true. I think lag in general hasn't been too bad. I did suffer a little bit myself today, but I was on for just letting the computer sit there doing other things as well. I was actually rendering a video as well, which is probably half my own fault using up some of my memory. But yeah. What about so have you found the hunter one?
It's okay. It's a little bit more damage than what I would expect for what they consider to be an auto target, even if it is a tier or a high level, a tier 7 target.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky. Many people are getting it sort of like down to 3 coin if you're just doing it like as you should,
I brought some wood from downstairs, not much, but some. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I can do it on auto points, so yeah, it's not bad.
Hello, Peter and other person.
Hello, Peter +1.
Sorry about that. I thought I muted myself.
Not quite.
So the hunter. I've been doing hunter on auto, and I've been getting erratic results. I would let my fleet repair to full and go out, and sometimes I would get 1 hour and like 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'd get 1 hour 30. And sometimes I'd get 1 hour 40 on auto. And I understand that there's variances even in how you hit because of the torpedoes and the evade and what targets what. I just don't think they should constitute half an hour, by the way, in raid time, so an hour normally for a single target. Oh, yes. TSM has prepped the slide.
Slightly frustrating. Yes, no, I just thought quickly. I would just say hi, Peter. How you doing? Hi, Jeff, and hi, Tripod, buddy. How are you? All right. I see you guys are in. But yeah, quickly. There's something about this. I mean, obviously, this is a special for the new Bucky. We know we've got a weapon, which is obviously the new pack cannon, which is fine. I think the simple thing to say about the pack cannon thing is it's got an enormous amount of damage that it deals out, and that's without the pack effect. So bear that in mind. Normally pack cannons they sort of like chip away at targets and that sort of stuff, and then all of a sudden a big boom comes in every now and again, and then that's what takes out a whole cluster of siege sort of normally turrets and that sort of stuff. Whereas this one's slightly different. The power of the pack cannon is considerably greater than the weapons that we've got at the moment, which indicates how hard the target's going to be. But the special this time is a little bit unusual. I can sort of let Brian take over it because I know he's done a lot of work on this thing.
Yay! It was like 1,900 words by the time it was done, but it was talking about the cannon as well. So this special is not that good compared to other specials that we have for Siege targeting 4 or 3, autoloader 2 or 3, for ballistic reload, high velocity rounds. An article just went up on Forsaken Cove where I did a bunch of math, and I looked at 9 specials that are somewhat common that I've seen people put for offense. And mass augmentation nexus, based on the effect it gives to your DPS, is 8th place out of 9. Behind siege targeting 4 and 3, autoloader 3 and 2, high velocity rounds, and a couple of other things. So it's really bad. It's bad. It was used well because in a skirmish because there wasn't a better second option.
Mm-hmm.
You could pick strike warheads or ACP or torpedo special, but that's all you could pick. There wasn't a second thing that you could stack with it. So you picked PBX payload or sealed fire charge because it was the best you could have. But rolling into Siege, we have very focused and very powerful specials, and the mass augmentation nexus doesn't stack up, but I still tell you to get it anyways because when things are very lackluster, they will tend to buff them like they did with the monoliths and the OU-10. So I don't like it, but I'm going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, personally, to extend on that, I don't like the last stat at the bottom. No, it's wrong. I like the last stat, i.e. the splash 40%. But the Nuclear Accelerator 2 has got splash as well. And the problem is you can't put the two together, which means why have we been given a special that is really, really good for siege hold and that sort of stuff, and now we can't use the damn thing? If you fit.
Now, anyone may be thinking that the other hull won't have splash, won't have a cannon with splash, or and then we're gonna need different specials, maybe just like the cannoneer versus the ironclad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the cannoneer didn't need splash. I get that, and the cannon didn't have any splash. So then why put it on Nuclear Accelerator 2? Because there's no benefit from having the splash at all. You can't utilize that with a splash-based weapon system and use pack cannons. It's just not possible. I just find it very strange. Unless I'm missing something. Is anybody?
Yeah, I reckon this one we're gonna put it into the side at first. I reckon that's my point of view of the build. I'm not sure I'm gonna use this on the first couple of builds. Maybe I'm gonna half, maybe 2 of each.
Yeah.
To see how the performance is. I always build it the old style and the new style on the ships. You know what I mean? I get one ship with the new stuff and one with the old stuff.
Well, it's interesting you saying about the old stuff because, I mean, still, and I know Brian and definitely Ren agrees with me on this one here, that I was saying one of the best specials in this raid is still the high velocity rounds if you haven't got it, because that is a phenomenal special that's being used time and time again across all fleet types, and it really does hit home, particularly when you're hitting against things that are stationary. It's great for things hitting in bases or in siege targets or in garrison targets. It's a phenomenal special, and it doesn't have the restrictions that this.
But this one, the high velocity one, you can use that on this Buccaneer no matter what.
Yes, we can, but and you can accelerate 1, 2.
But the thing is, you have to worry about the what's the name? I can't remember.
Which one? Siege targeting?
Nuclear X 2 or 1. That's that's the one. The 2 you could do the regular one and use the new special, or you could do without the nuclear number 2 and use maybe I'm thinking about what was it I was putting on mine. I can't remember.
Is it Cannon System 4? Because I think that's still the right answer.
Yeah, that works.
It could be. Yeah. I can't remember the names. I have to. I'm fucking useless at this game.
And the reload and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Something like that.
Brian, even though we don't know that, did you put any thought to the possibility that when the Pack 2 procs, that's always a critical? We don't know that's the case, but if that happened, if that's always a critical, that would be doubling the damage associated with that, and that would probably change this significantly. We don't know that to be the case at all, I'm just wondering if that's the logic, potential logic behind this special. You follow me?
I'll write a note and remind me before the end of the show because I should have the answer by then.
Yeah, because we don't know that that's the case, but there is, you know, with the way they do things, it wouldn't seem terribly crazy that the Papa Smurf is a critical hit.
Yeah, I mean, Run's got a combination screen. I mean, you can see it now, and so he's got basically. I mean, I know we've done a couple of sort of builds and stuff. We often done some bits. Now someone was saying there's not going to be any radiation damage in the first raid, and I don't know how much truth you put into that, to be honest, because you never know until it's a bit like saying, you know, you're going to make the number 9 bus, all of a sudden the number 9 bus turns up 1 minute early. Kixie's a bit like that, you know. You get told one thing, and actually on the day something slightly changes. So don't think something is gospel just because you heard it somewhere before, even here.
Mark, you are falling out. It's just me.
Getting breaking up a little bit.
Am I breaking up? Am I?
A little bit.
Sometimes.
Okay, I can hear someone's got YouTube going as well. Yeah. So what I've got there is, I mean, as Ren's in his picture, he's got a good selection of specials there and taking advantage of several aspects. And what he isn't taking advantage of is the new special.
You know, I had a thought about the new special. It might be something that players who don't have Nuclear Accelerator 2 could use with the regular nuclear accelerators.
Yeah.
I mean, that might be why Kixeye set it up the way they did. If you don't have Nuclear Accelerator 2, you use Nuclear Accelerator 1 in the new special. If you do have Nuclear Accelerator 2, you use Nuclear Accelerator 2 and something else.
I suppose you can just turn around and say we're going to have options, but nobody likes to do a refit because about escalation, which is obviously what we've just suffered this week. You know, for those that haven't refitted their subs, I don't think they're having as good a time as others in the tier 7 target, but just for the lack of punch. But I don't like having to refit something because, you know, something is underperforming, and then if they do come and fix it, if they're going to fix this dedicated special, then they need to do it before. Well, it should have been done already, to be honest. But I find it's definitely the math is just not stacking up for me, and I'm an maths expert, but even I can see that it's underperforming compared to the standard stuff that we've had out for some time, nearly 12 months. But yeah, the whole itself thing seems strong. It seems quite decent. It's got good with Speed System 5 in it. It's got good turn speed, which is critical in siege targets. It's got good forward speed, which I like, and it's got some good base stats. So it doesn't seem a bad item itself. But, yeah, I wouldn't go putting on layered armor for a start as a special. I think that'd be a bit of a mistake if you did that. Yes, it looks fantastic. You get huge amounts of ballistic protection, but you only get to swap it out later. So
what do you mean? I mean the charged armor?
No, the special. If you put not layered armor. If you put
or CO3 or what it's called.
Yeah.
That's what I put on here on my screen. You're saying you wouldn't?
You know, I said I would. You know, I've seen a couple of people building it with ballistic only special.
Well, if you put the ballistic reflective coating 4, you get a different number, but you still, with reflecting coated 4, you also get radioactive and evade at the same time. So there might be some different combinations using layered armor.
I generally find evade doesn't work on siege because most of their incoming is nearly always radius effect. It's got splash.
Now, I was thinking about the last special, right? If you look at my screen, one autoloader 4. But I remember Brian saying something that autoloader 4 wasn't a good idea. But I kind of like the combo here, and it's lightweight.
But look at the damage; it's only 196.
It is, but the thing is, there's a drop off here. And the things that you have to look at, you've got splash range. You've not only got the damage, but also you must look at your building damage as well. Bear in mind it's the siege, so you might not have the highest damage per round. Bear in mind this is about the pack effect. But if you've got 100% building damage, that's a huge multiplication.
And also ignore that number. also ignore that damage number as being a true number. That number is actually a
Yeah, I know.
it's a critical hit from the secondary weapon from the particle blast.
Yeah.
And that's what it's actually showing you. So
Yeah, what you gotta consider, like, I only have 4 cannons here. I didn't put all of them, so 4 cannons. Okay.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Now, the building damage is, I'm gonna round it to 11,000, right? So 11,000 times 4, that's 44,000 for now. Times, what is the ballistic damage bonus? 130%. So now, per cannon, right? The 11,000 becomes 22 with 3, 25,000. And now you got to apply 500%. So times 5 or times 6, right?
Yeah, because I've seen a couple of builds that have only got like 120% building damage and that sort of stuff. And whilst their base number is quite high, it's a pack cannon boost number, I don't think it's not the right way to go. It really isn't.
Now, here's my question, right? One option I have is I can put autoloader 4. There are other options. Like, I don't know the targets if they have anything that stuns you or slows you down, like fields, right? If they do, probably a good idea would be to put agility system because it has no stuns, low resistance at all. Evade, I mean, it's at 10%, so I could go and put something here. So again, I don't know if evade and stuns low are important. If they are, maybe drop autoloader and put something like that.
Math done, by the way. If every Hadouken is a critical, the DPS is multiplied by 1.46 using the mass augmentation, which does not even put it into 7th place on the list. Still behind autoloader 4.
So looking at the setup I built here, Brian, what do you think? I mean, when you put autoloader 4, nuke excel 2, and siege battery 4, and HVR.
It's not bad. I'm putting cannon system on because it's lighter and has splash. I think I'm gonna go 7 guns with autoloader 3, siege targeting, and siege battery. But this is fine. You've got the speed from nuke excel 2.
The speed. I think it's important.
Yeah, the speed, the splash.
I think it's important.
Autoloader 4, HVR, still the best special. Can you fit 8 guns on that? Have you tried?
If I can fit what?
All 8 guns? Do you need 7? I don't know.
There.
Hey, Brian, have you tried?
Yeah, easily.
Have you tried, Brian? Have you tried the combustion system too?
And I could, Brian. I mean, I'm gonna save that for.
I'm thinking about the flash thing. I think the splash is a good thing.
If all you need is splash, that's a good special. I still think there are other better options, but if you're falling just short, you might want that. But I don't think you're gonna need it.
Yeah, but we need a splash because this is supposed to be the auto hole, or what do you say? And the ironclad, or what it's called. That needed the splash, didn't it?
Not
sure.
Well, I didn't really use ironclad, so I can't say for sure.
The ironclad needed splash, and others you were better off using the cannoneer.
Yeah, if you have both. I had the cannoneer. It didn't need the splash. That's the main hole, the skill hole, and this one is the soggy hole. So I was thinking about splash this time.
We're gonna need to see the targets and test first because
of course.
In the A and S set targets, there just weren't things together that were close enough that you needed it.
Agreed. Yeah.
But the B and C sets, I can't speak to it.
And Brian, just to finish, I mean, I put 2 more C charge armors just to see if it fits. I'm not going to put 4, right? Because I'm going to save something for radioactive. But you can have 8 cannons, 4 charged armors, and these specials. So I think it's not bad.
Yeah, it looks fine.
What would you guys change on that build?
Is auto loader really necessary? The reload on that cannon's 3, and on a scald hull, is that going to be necessary?
Well, on a cold hull, you're going to be at 0.75 second reload after you get the 75% bonus.
Yeah, no autoloader special will put you down to 0.2, so you can use any one that you want.
Yeah, because I noticed the hull doesn't have a reload bonus. None of the other specials have a reload bonus, so I'm like 0.75. In combat, it's quite a while between rounds, so I thought the autoloader is important.
It looks good. I just like cannon system 4.
Okay, so I'm going to clean the specials, Brian, and let's do your way.
Just clean those up while you're having a little bit of a play around there. I was going to can you see that one there?
Yeah.
So that's a concern. So this one here, I mean, it's frustrating to be able to say. Let me just take that. Well, this one here gets a building damage of 793%, which is nice. Splash is the same as what Ren's got as well, 190. And I've gone with some flat rad on there. And the only reason this build was going this way was because it was trying to get up as much building damage as possible, but also increasing the splash as well.
And sorry, what's the base ballistic damage increase you got in there?
Ballistic damage is 75%.
So that's when you got to do the math, because you have 75% ballistic and then 700% on top of that.
793%. So yeah, call it 800 and call it 75.
Okay.
And that on the 7 cannon.
No, you don't add them up. You got to apply one, then apply the other.
Yeah. But that's where the math sheets have to come in, don't they? Because it's it's frustrating. But obviously, and that's if you did choose to go with the mass augmentation,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there are options, but it doesn't seem, and I'm no maths guru, but it still doesn't seem as huge and as important a special as it doesn't seem to be as good to me, I must admit.
Mass one or what?
So Ren, back to what you've got open.
Yeah, I'm trying to find Cannon System 4.
I'm sorry, what?
I'm trying to find Cannon System 4.
Far left and up a little bit. Think a little more.
There.
Yeah, right there. Below.
CO3, 4, 6.
Yeah,
Check.
I mean, I have siege. I have siege targeting 4 and autoloader 3, but you can't fit 8 guns. You need to take one off and put whatever. You can fit like a
20,000
Phalanx 2 or something on there.
And is your autoloader 2 retrofitted? Because mine isn't.
Oh, autoloader 3, and I'm refitting or retro mine. No,
Sorry,
it's
3,
3.
autoloader 3, not 2?
Yeah, 3 and take off a gun. That's what I'm going with.
And was it better than having autoloader 2 and all guns?
Yep.
Okay.
I think I did that table, actually. Is it? Oh, I used AL4.
No, it's lighter.
So-
It's probably one of
Oh, I
the-
also had... Yeah, I had rank 0 AL3 on that.
Well, obviously, you're losing base speed, though, aren't you? Or, as in combat speed.
Yeah.
A lot.
Wait, what?
Combat speed.
Your combat speed, that's the only thing.
Because they don't have nuclear accelerator, so you lose 20-something% combat speed.
Oh, yeah, that... I'm okay with that. If I need more speed, I can just swap a couple things back out. It'll be fine.
My only concern is how big are the targets? You know what it's like. They seem to be growing exponentially as the time goes on. We're getting bigger and bigger targets because that's a way of slowing us down from getting too many points.
Yeah, and it
And what do we
I
have
think-
to run?
yeah.
Say again, sorry?
Slower ships.
And what is there going to be in there that we have to outrun?
There shouldn't be anything to outrun. Shouldn't. I won't say there won't be. I'm saying they shouldn't be.
The new Scourge transformer. There's motor on back and outboard motor just you're like, oh god, what happened? The S target instead of Rudolph, they're just going to be that gun from Scourge last year. From the middle, that thing's going to have an outboard motor. and that's going to be the S set in the S set target. Let's go.
So what have you got there? Well, that's very. Well, I think you've just built the same thing as me. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that is exactly what I have. Or sorry, Ren's screen is showing exactly what I would have.
That's one.
And then
that's mine, and that's Ren's. So, I mean, I mean, Ren's going for the notion of all C charge.
But no, I just put it to see if I can fit 4 charged armor, but I'm not going to put all C.
Yeah, I appreciate, mate. Yeah, because obviously we haven't got the radioactive yet, which will come obviously in a later raid, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's tight, isn't it? Weight wise.
Which one's tight? Ryan's?
You know what? It's close weight wise. That there. It's 19 out of 20, so it's good.
That's okay.
And you can actually, if you want, if you don't want to leave that weapon slot empty, Brian, you could fit a regular pack.
Oh, that's right. It is light enough.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's happening. Thank you.
That's close.
So there, you're right on the weight limit. 17 days, 10 hours. And
can you get a double Hadouken? That's the achievement to unlock. Let's do this.
But Ren, if you take 1 or 2 of the new armors, or what do you call it, the C armors, or just one off and put a radio on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna I said,
just to check the weight. Just 1 or 2 of them and
regular radioactive, you mean?
Yeah, that's what we got at the moment.
Yeah, level 2 should be fine.
Level 2, yeah. Isn't it? Yeah.
And that's one of the annoying parts about this is that we're probably going to have to put that armor on now so we don't immediately die. And then we'll have to swap it out for...
Look at that, 1999. Is that 60?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Doesn't get any closer than that. Well, it does a little bit. But,
we better hope Kixeye didn't screw up our percent weight here and there or we're done for.
But that's the thing I've seen the last many months or years.
I've been getting SOSs when I get too close to the max because the game somehow thinks it's over.
That's a problem. I hope they get that fixed before the raid. Because if they want us to use that new...
Not before the raid, before they build the ships.
Man, I haven't retroed cannon system or anything. I've just looked at that now. I've got no retro on mine at all. I was like that. No wonder why. Anyway.
So the main difference, I think, Brian's version has more DPS, but it's a bit slower. Same splash, more DPS, a bit slower. Mine's a bit faster, a bit less DPS. Same splash. Interesting. And honestly, at this point, without playing with the target, we don't know which one's the best. We just know both are good, and there's a trade-off, right?
Yeah, and the weird thing is, when we put these into what we assume will be VXP targets coming, well, the new raid targets coming next week for VXP weekend, we're going to have blanks. Like, we're not really going to be able to answer specific questions about it. Our builds won't be advanced enough to figure it out because we've had to build blanks. So that's a problem.
I hope they do like they do the skirmish targets. I think they released them on map a couple times, didn't they? Or put some... There was something other than VXP weekend where we could play with them.
There was the that campaign in the middle of the month where you could get the Phantom Fangtooth 2 weeks before the raid.
Oh no! The daily campaign, I think they created.
That too, and before that, they put the glowing nav relays on the map before the first raid for reasons. Katie shards? I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. It's an interesting situation. I still think then they need to buff the special. I mean, most people are building blanks at the moment, ready for VXP weekend, but some people are putting their stuff on at the moment and building these things, you know. So I'm underwhelmed, to say the least, to be honest.
Same old same.
Yeah, it's the same old same.
Yeah, it's very underwhelming. And HVR has the same weight as this, and it is so much better. And it's last year's tech.
It's also, I would like to see an HVR 2, but there we go, rather than that.
Oh, that would be great.
Well, it's coming next weekend.
Do you know what? If it comes in the FM, that's why I'm not playing around too much. I'm building 4 blanks.
Yeah, that's the escalation special.
HVR 2 would be, I'd be really interested to see that thing come out.
Boy.
Okay.
So,
Look,
Brian,
Hi.
borrowing from your idea, if you look back at my screen,
yeah, you're locked on.
instead of autoload 4, I just put autoloader 2, which has actually a bigger bonus, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a little bit heavier, but still fits 4 charged armors, all the new cannons, Nuclear Excel 2, HVR, autoloader 2, which is better than 4.
Yeah, that's good. I'm still going 7-gun and 3 and cannon system, but that is also a good setup.
Yeah, I don't think I can. No, autoloader 3 is
You
way
can't.
better.
You can't. It's just too heavy.
Yeah, it's a funny heavy mechanic, that one, isn't it? 75% or something stupid, isn't it? So it's just not possible.
I like that. I like that it makes there's a lot of room to play around with this hull in terms of what you think is useful. Do you like splash? Do you like speed?
Yeah,
You just like pure reload and damage, and you
And
can make those
sort out
decisions.
what we're gonna need, actually, not just what we like. Basically,
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, this is
We'll think about
and before we move on, is the fact that the HVR is still the most versatile, and it is still one of the most versatile items in the game, and it's hardly a build that goes out without it. Even submarines, people put HVR on. You know, I think it still leads to the old style way of games. If you build what you think is right, and HVR allows you to do that, you can chuck it on most things, and it improves the build. Always does.
And just in the meantime, I'm going to go with this setup, incomplete, right? My goal is to have something like that, because then 2 slots for future charged R, 4 slots because I want to see what's the other new cannon they're going to release for the other ship, right? So maybe it's better. I don't know. So I'm leaving 4 weapon slots empty for now, and I'm leaving the last special slot empty so I can play with autoloader or agility system or whatever is needed.
Rain, can you go, slice down to the special abilities about the pack?
You want me to show like the cannon specials?
No, on the ship, on the stats.
Okay, what's here? Scroll down. Okay.
Scroll down on the special.
Yeah, there.
Did I miss something?
You get extra ballistic and radioactive defense, 5 stacks. Each stack's 30-35%. You get more damage, plus 20% damage. So when you have a fleet of 5, you're doubling the damage, plus 100%.
Yeah, okay.
And you get same for radioactive damage if you mount launchers on this map.
Yeah, because I always look on the defenses, what type of defense I'm going to put on it. So.
Now totally crazy, different idea. This guy has a lot of bonuses for radioactive damage too. Has anyone thought about building with launchers?
Yeah, I was thinking about the same.
yeah.
Or are we going to get some kind of cannon that has radioactive?
Wondering the same thing. It's got some bonuses there, and we know that there's a couple of specials that are out there, as in that.
The only difference is the range is -5.
Yeah, Nuclear 2's got a nice little bonus for radioactive.
So the problem is you get like the 98. I think 98 is the longest range for a launcher, right?
Moment, yeah.
So -5%, you're going down to 93, something like that, right?
Yeah, 93.1.
Yeah.
But if you take 2 of the ballistic and 2 of the radioactives, that'd be fun.
Could get confused because you can optimize the specials, right?
You need a different special.
No.
Why build in a -10% straight into the hull? You know, -10.
You don't mix the fleet. You build one fleet specifically for radioactive.
Yeah, but what if minimum? You look at what's happening in the Hunter and that sort of stuff. You know, you try and take subs into Hunter, you know, and then the range, but they're 100, you're 100. One shot, you're dead. So,
but I see what you mean. Like maybe 3 ships with cannons, 2 ships with launchers, or something like that.
If you can figure out where the gun that they will inevitably put with 94 range right in the middle, if you can figure out where that is, you could probably do some interesting things. I still think that
It won't be able
be-
to drive. It'd be crazy drive.
Yeah.
I reckon.
Target's last time.
I think because the hull has radioactive damage buffs, and now Autoloader 4 has a radioactive reload buff. There's something coming.
Yeah.
No, it's not even 98. The longest launcher is 94. Sorry.
oh, well,
Now, here's the thing. Remember the Squall launcher? It gives radioactive and ballistic resistance defense.
Yeah.
So you
No,
could go stupid and do something like this.
I try to fill it up some launchers.
Look at the defenses now. You're at 87 ballistic, 81 radioactive.
And then
Yeah, but your damage sucks.
Yeah,
Damage goes a different way though, doesn't it?
but there's a shockwave.
It works differently on radioactive, and you haven't got the right specials. There's loads of radioactive specials you could add yet.
Yeah, let me check specials.
Which one's got a radioactive boost? There's one that's got a 10% range boost.
Autoloader 4 has
There's
reload.
shockwave damage, radioactive accuracy, 30% radioactive damage. I don't care about accuracy, it's all buildings. What else do we have? The autoloader is interesting.
autoloader.
You got this a little bit further up.
What else do we have?
There's the two ones that got the shockwave. Those, stop.
Flechette feeder, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Cool. This one's good because it does supercharge and reload. It's actually better than the autoloader, and you can stack.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, wow. And then the
So radioactive now goes from it's 11 seconds. That's why it goes from 116.
yeah, and then siege targeting 4 is your best bet.
Let me see what else we have.
Speed. Stop. The one with the number
Yeah, the
3.
one above the loader.
That one. What's that one?
This one?
Yeah, launcher supercharge. Extreme.
Yeah, this one gives supercharge. Yeah, but there's another one that's good.
We're right there, right above the loader. The one between the cryo and the
The yellow circle. Viscosity regulator.
viscosity.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Splash.
But yeah, that's for throwers, right? The splash
Damage.
doesn't work for
Damage.
Yeah, I guess it's just a damage increase. It's the same.
Yes.
But if I'm going for damage increase, I should go for this one that gives me 30% damage increase.
And accuracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good call. 30% damage. But then there's, where is it? Siege targeting 4 will give me a truckload of building damage.
What about atomic targeting?
I'm looking. Oh yeah, let me see what this one gives us. 25 damage, not as good as fusion fuel. No, it's still better. I think we're better off with siege targeting because it's all buildings, right? Where is it?
Yeah, but we'll revisit this again when it comes out, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think we'll be popping back to this exact same question several times over the next couple of weeks, especially when we see what's coming in the FM. So
yeah, so here's a apparently good build, I guess, because you get resistance, you get a decent damage, you get 800% almost building damage on top of, where is it? 75% extra damage. So let me look at it here. Yeah, 85 divided by salvo. Okay, yeah, it's not great. Like, no idea.
we're in the realms of tin hats though, because we just don't know what's coming and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, no idea
early.
what that would be. It's a valid build, but in terms of range, my main concern, the range is shorter than the cannons.
That's my major concern. But anyway, they put -10 on for radioactive for a set reason, which is odd. Again, special.
5.
Is it 5? Is it? Well, it's 5% though, but it gives you
But then don't forget you're getting plus 100% radioactive damage when you have 5 ships.
Yeah, but that's no good if a cannon outshoots you and one shots you or something. You don't know what they've got yet, do we? So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right, let's move on to the next thing. So I've got my screen up here from the slides that Robin put together. This is the first time then, and we spoke to this on the pre-show basically. First time that all the resources are not even available in the raid at all, because obviously we can't go and get the targets for our uranium, but it's also a week-long raid as well, and they're making us pay for it now. I'm just interested to see what the panel thinks about that.
It sucks.
I think it sucks too.
Sucks.
I mean, uranium is the basic commodity, but titanium is becoming the must-have commodity, and now we're going to have to pay for it. And I still think, especially for guys and I've seen a few people that are struggling to even get 2 million to 4 million, that sort of stuff. Look at the price of some of this stuff. You know, if you wanted to get even one hit at titanium, and it's not enough. 10 is nothing. That's just, that's one thing you could do on your upgrade for your mega hull, or it's one VXP token or something like that. 2 million points, and there's another 2 million for some base parts. There's another 1.5 for some uranium. And it's not giving you hardly any. I mean, that's not going to do nothing on a roll to get a crew if you need the crew. I think they've made a huge mistake on this personally.
It's what, 10,000, so 50,000. That 50,000 uranium is one day of upgrading a lot of the more recent additions to the retrofit lab.
Some of 70 even.
Yeah, and I'm not even. I don't know. On average, I think it would get you to R15 on some of the very, very, very cheap stuff. But especially when you get into the high levels, that wouldn't even last you the 6 days that this raid is.
I mean, basically, I think with the 7. I mean, if you were doing a key special and you hadn't done one of the ones for the siege and that sort of stuff, one of the bigger ones particularly, you are not going to have enough to go through the week. It's just not possible, and this is not going to help you in any way, shape, or form. I'm not saying produce, and make it okay. We're going to give you 15 opportunities to go and do 1.5 million points. I think it should just be 50 or 500,000, something like that. Not even 100,000 to roll for uranium, and then there should have been 20 or 30 chances to get it, or just leave the goddamn targets out as they were. We didn't have an issue with it. I'd like to have seen the titanium, even if it's just been 1,000 in each one of them, and people would have carried on hitting those. I think
it should be. I mean, I don't mind that it's for sale, but it should be a lot more resource for that point price.
Here.
What they should have done is put the base parts, titanium and uranium, all in the Man of Wars instead of having to buy it.
That would be even better.
Mm-hmm.
Hear that?
Yeah, all that stuff should be in there. I just find it's frustrating. I was just looking at the cut in chat said now's the solution for this is to save your daily, your daily chests from your daily campaigns. But not everybody can do those.
And they don't give titanium.
Well, once again, it's also easier for most of us to get the points necessary to get these. What about the mid levels and lower levels that can't?
Yeah, that's my biggest concern. There's plenty of people here that are going to run out.
You got guys that are happy to have 2 million points for the raid at this point, and wow, they get to go get 10,000 titanium.
Yeah, I've got two individuals in my alliance now, and they're only mid levels and that sort of stuff. Not mid to quite high mid levels, in fact. And they're about 4 million points, and they're doing all they can. I know a guy that's they're running, who's at college in America, and he's just finished his term, and he's running real low level targets where he can find them, but he's running 4 or 5 fleets and altering them because that's all he's got. And he's sitting at 1.8 million points, but he's still 3 days in, and is already starting to run low on uranium, so there's no point in wasting his money on buying some more because then he's just wasted his whole 3 days, really.
I think the economy is the biggest problem with the game that we face right now. Things that should be affordable for everybody.
Yeah, I find it. I'm quite displeased, I have to say. And talking about displeased, Venom's in. Hello, buddy.
Hello there.
So while we're talking about displeased, let's talk about the prize list, shall we? I'll just take myself off there, and I'll probably try and come up to. Anyway, Venom, we'll have a quick chat first. How is your raid going, by the way?
I started today, and other than a few lag spikes, it's been grand. As long as you can drive well, you should be fine. I got bored and decided to kill all the gluttonies in the void target without killing anything else, which was quite a fun challenge.
You make everything go to the center and run around the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw a few people do that. I saw a couple of videos though. It's quite funny. So
If to be fair, if anyone is actually struggling to do it without any damage, go in, trigger the ships to the center. If you're running the subs, you should be able to outspeed the ships attacking you. So just run away from them, let them go to the center and kill the gluttonies, exit and go back in, and you should save yourself a lot of hassle trying to avoid the extra gluttony shots.
yeah, very much so. I'm gonna see if I can just quickly turn Rum's mic up. It's a bit quiet tonight for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Rum, just say a few words.
Hello?
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, we've got you. So I think the point now is, bearing in mind that only Bounty was 2 and a bit weeks ago and that sort of stuff, and I know Venom is pretty being one of in one of the top level alliances and that sort of stuff, and one of the players that is really keen on his PvP and that sort of stuff. So the slide I've got up at the moment then obviously is the PvP host for this raid, and I know it's a textual raid, but I think the worth of the prize from the bounties have been diminished somewhat. What are your thoughts, Venom?
The Kings I can agree with being there, but the hope, I just can't. I can't see why they've put the hope in, especially with the bounty coming up after raid as well. This next bounty is going to be one of the biggest jokes you could have in the game. When you're talking about a ship that released that can one-shot even twin blades with explosive damage, there's nobody going to be hitting bases. It's just not going to be possible. I've seen a few bases where yes, you can get in, but any bases that have any common sense with the New Hope they're just not. There's no point hitting it.
But there's a stage 2 to that, isn't there? The stage 2 to that, and we haven't even started with tier 7 base hitters yet, and that sort of stuff is.
That's coming.
Where's that going to leave? Where's that going to leave the next man? As soon as we get to sort of let's just say Easter, you can predict that we're going to have a couple of base hitters and maybe a defender, but I doubt it. We've just had 3 in a row. What's that going to do to the game, especially for Mr. Average? Because Mr. Average is going to get smashed to pieces.
Here's the issue: the way they've put it out now, the mid to low players get farmed by the big players, and the big players can't hit each other because their bases are just not possible.
So it makes us farm everybody else.
So the big players are farming the little players and complaining to Kixeye saying we can't hit the big players, it's no fun for us. They release out another big base hitting hull that flattens almost everyone. It just puts the mid to low players further and further behind, just to where it's just not fun for them anymore.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole situation, and I'll admit it. I saw the instant gratification of going out there and getting the rage, which I knew was going to be short lasting because it was a blitzing, and you know what we like with those type of fleets, But it was a click and win button. There was nothing that could stop you, not a single base. And like I said on a previous show, I went from an absolute noob in the background sitting there at flipping, a few hundred coins to being 3rd global. I did that in 2 days.
5 days it lasted.
I did it in 2 days. It's ridiculous.
Filthy coin.
And it was to prove a point, Ren. That's the point.
Come on, TSM, it's like good sex. Just for 5 minutes. Oh, give it to me, baby.
I can't comment on that. But the point is,
using the weapons of the bourgeoisie against them. Well, not against them. You don't hit the top bases. I just wanted to segue away from that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well done there, Brian. but it's the same concept, and something is going to have to come along, and it's got to overpower the hope, Otherwise, there is no hope, blah blah. Okay, and it's also got to overload this new defender, which we haven't even looked at yet, that's just come out in this textile raid, which slows your ships down, which has got amazing countermeasure capabilities and that sort of stuff,
Question.
Yeah, go on.
I'm just gonna get the hope. I did actually the hope and the Omni. Redeem them both now.
Mm-hmm.
I started building the Omni first. Do you guys agree, or would you have started the hope first?
First, the reason I say that is you've got hulls out there already that have boosts that the Omni gives. It mightn't be as much of a boost that the Omni has, but it's still enough of a boost to be able to one-shot literally anything.
Well, I wouldn't build it personally. What I would do is use get the 5 tokens. You've got plenty of time to build that, and then also go forward and build. It doesn't take very long to build the hope rank. Get them ranked, and then decide what you want to do, mate, afterwards.
So you'll have just both naked
To start with,
weekend.
yeah, I would have them both naked at the moment. Get them to VXP weekend, or just use the defender tokens. There are a few of those available.
Yeah, no, but I mean, which one would you complete first?
Hope.
Let me change the question.
Yeah, hope.
Agree with part of what you said there, specifically about rank. I tested my build and it took 1 reload without any boosts or anything around it, just on the map hitting a twin blade. The twin blade's got the highest explosive defense in the game. Period. Took 1 reload. Didn't need a reload.
Yeah. So for the Omni, that needs because obviously mostly it's about countering obviously incoming, particularly the old bus, and it was all its morts and that stuff. It's going to be phenomenal for that and the slowdown effect. So I think that one needs the reload capability. So that's the one you want to rank in it. But I would definitely agree. I don't think that the hope is all that.
So you guys are saying do the hope first?
I would build the hope first, yeah, but I would rank the Omni first. So it's just, depends what you want to do. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Build 2 blanks, but I would go full build on the hope.
Yeah, I'm building the Omni blank, and then I'm going to do the hope blank, like you said, for ranking if I can. But yeah, I was just not sure which one to finish and put in base first.
Hope, especially if you've got the sand trap.
Yeah, I do have the sand trap.
There was a lot of complaints in the forum around the sand trap and the hope, because if you put hope near the sand trap, there's literally nothing that can get through. It'll surface the subs and they'll just get one shot by it. And no matter what you do, there's no way around that.
Especially
if you're saying it killed base hitting at the high level of the game.
Oh yeah. I haven't been hit by days. People just actively avoid my base now. You stick hope in, they peek once, and then they tell their friends, oh, he's got hope in there, let's not hit.
I'll tell you one thing that is true, though. The fact that it's called the hope, it's caused some of the most corniest jokes in the game I've heard for an awful long time. I'm just looking in chat.
Oh yeah, up to yesterday I was hopeless.
I hope it was the right decision to go with the Omni, and Anyway, yeah, stupid jokes. But yeah, there's been quite a few about recently.
I think what kicks I have done accidentally without meaning to do it is completely destroy the PvP balance for anyone that can get the hope. If you get the hope weapon, even if you're a low-level player, if you manage to get that, you're not going to be
sorted.
Can I throw a tinfoil hat?
Yeah, go on. Do one. You can, so long as it's half sensible tinfoil hat version, yeah.
They're trying to force more people to do bounty.
Oh, I don't think that's the answer. Because I don't think that's the answer, mate. Because look, I mean, let's go back to 4 months in, prior to Christmas or December, and we had the rages 5 months, in fact, and we had the rages and everything was going hunky dory. And all of a sudden they went, oh, there's a thing called the Axiom gun. I'll tell you what, let's give it to a couple of people. No, I'll tell you what, let's give it to everybody. Let's null and void.
But that's what they've basically done by introducing the hope. If nobody can get through, the next step is to come up with something that can get through the hope. Then you have the Omni backing it up.
Yeah, you can't put that in the bounty because nobody will be able to get it because it can't hit any bloody bases.
It can't hit bases, and if you want to get the big stuff in bounty, you've got to, unless you're really, really lucky, or you can own about 3 Nexus, which I think you've got.
That was my point. The Nexuses would give you enough to get it.
They did. You don't think they will in future? I don't think you'll be allowed to own that money this time. I think they're going to change that concept. Like I said, I mean, not to talk stringing too much of a tangent, but bounty was good, and the Nexus, the import of the mega ships was half decent, as in it didn't cause lag and that sort of stuff. But the rollout of how it was operated within the concept of bounty, I don't think was right, and I think they've acknowledged that. So I don't think one alliance holding 3 Nexuses will be permitted next time, which will cause an issue for themselves.
Yep. I think what they've done here is we got a defender this raid rather than a conqueror because they
left. People wanted that.
We voted for, but we voted before bounty, and they didn't tell us that we're getting a really extremely overpowered defender in bounty. So we've now got 2 defenders, one which can one-shot alone, plus a ship that gives 35% damage, because why not kill things just that a little bit more overkill?
But that's exactly the same as giving us the bus, which
Right.
neutralizes the Axiom and the OP gun, and then obviously adding on top of that the King's Writ, which makes a phenomenal base hitting fleet, which has been the ultimate go-to fleet for the last, what, 3.5 months?
Well, certainly not now.
No, very much so, because things go in cycles. You know, it's coming to its end. You know, well, only because the Hope's turned up. But yeah, even if the Omni was in there, without the Hope, the Omni I don't think would particularly stop King's Writs. It would slow them down, but I don't think it would stop them. But you know, it's the yin yang. You know, it's not. I mean, it's not even that. It's not about comparatives and finding harmony and balance, because that's what we want. We want the yin yang concept. What we've got is the seesaw concept. It's absolutely one extreme or the other. You know, you're up or you're down.
It's one extreme or the other, but in this case, what they've done is put really, really far to one extreme where it becomes difficult to push it back without sort of spoon feeding us, if you will.
I mean, I personally think, for me, you know, it's a bit like a latte sort of stuff. You know, you've got your chocolate and you've got your cream and that sort of stuff, and you mix it together to make an amazing drink. But sometimes you put 2 consistencies together and they just repel each other. And base hitting and base defending, it needs to sort of like have some strategy in it, where you're not just given. I mean, it's bad enough that we're just directed how to build our ships these days. I mean, look at the latest. The Bucky's a classic example. You go into anything else with that Buccaneer and you're going to get mortaled. You've had it. You know, unless you take that thing to something that's got ballistic, you know, coming at you and radioactive. Anything else, you've just not even going to make the first round. Because
So we better hope that there's no cheese balls in the siege raid cycle.
Don't even go there with cheese balls, mate. But yeah, I'm not
jalapeno cheese balls.
Yeah, I'm not ranting, but at the end of the day, you know, this constant seesawing of from one to the other, it's destabilizing, it's demoralizing, and it's not keeping the big PvPers in the game by a long shot. It's just, I mean, you lost quite a few in your alliance. I know you did, and so did some of the other big alliances as well. So,
didn't they say they're going to even that out coming 2018 though?
Well, they haven't made a good start already, because unless everyone's now going to go and build up this Omni and they're going to go build the Hope, and all of a sudden, whatever walks in the door, how are you going to even that out? Because you've got to be able to bring base hitting back in, because at the moment it's now gone again. Well, that's 3 times in the month. In the last 3 months that's happened. It's in, it's out, it's in, it's out. But it's the extreme. It's not like, oh, you were close. It's the absolute extreme. I mean, you are locked out on base hitting at the moment for the top alliances. You just can't.
That is not relevant.
Well, I know they seem to think.
I'll tell you why. Because I have fresh coffee.
But I know they got more income coming from PvE than they have got from PvP. That's the nuts and bolts of it, because they've driven the game down to a Farmville.
That's the problem. The reason they're getting away from PvP is because they make more money in PvP, because they've drove it that way. And to be
but it's not why we all started playing the game, though.
We play the game because it's called Battle Pirates, not Farm Pirates.
Yeah, but the thing is, Battle Pirates is ingenuity, and it's hard to deter ingenuity, i.e. to counter it. And it's very easy to counter it with PvE, because they dictate the target. They also dictate the craft that's going into the target. So it's very structured, isn't it? And very simple. I mean, we can have a little bit of an ingenuity, as Brian has said, you know, and Cannon System 4 works better as opposed to, you know, and all that sort of stuff. You know, we can do some basic maths and up our percentages, you know, but what we can't do is pick a different hull and take it into these targets, or a different weapon system, because it's just not viable. So we are definitely corrals, whereas PvP shouldn't corral you down any particular avenue. You should be
PvP should be way more open, and it's not, like you said, because they release a good hull and 2-3 weeks later they release something that makes it totally useful. New hull, and then 3 weeks later it's not used. It makes it useless. And so also, pretty much every month you have just one good combo, at most 2, that you can use, and you know the next month that combo will be useless against the top bases.
I don't know. Over to the panel. What do you think, guys?
I think like everything, they're trying to micromanage PvP when you can do it. It's easier to monetize. I mean, look how much money we spent getting the Hope, and now they're selling it for 20 million. That's a third of what the new boat is, the Omni.
But you know, to me personally, I think if you were hitting a base and it cost you like $1 to hit a base and it cost you 75 cents to fix it, wouldn't there be an awful lot more base hitting going on?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I agree. If the prices were cheaper, it'd be better.
Well, to be fair, whenever I go base hitting, it's like 1 or 2 coin repair for hitting it. If
Yeah,
that-
because we can be selective on what we want to hit. You don't have to hit a Hope.
well, that's true. But if you run, say, you run any of the new Conqueror hulls with no armor, which you can because the deflections are stupid, it's 30-minute repair. 30-minute repair each. So, what maximum 5 coin if you kill your fleet, you're running a box fleet. 2 tanks. You only have to repair tanks normally, so much of a cost there.
That's true.
The only cost is getting it.
That's the crux, isn't it? It's getting hold of it. You know, but I can remember. I mean, look at we had a video the other day, and I showed that quick video clip of people all running to the next sector, where there was like 50 ships going from one sector to another sector just to have a mass fight. And I know Rainer put up a post the other day as well, which Rue showed, where there was a massive fight going on, and the most recent one of that was obviously during the bounty when they were fighting for the Nexuses, which I thought was amazing. I mean, I was priced out the market by by a long rot shot, but I don't know if it was cost effective, but I know they had fun doing it.
I would like to see Kickstarter's revenues on a daily basis. Like you guys are saying now. My way of thinking is like if the price was like $1 for basic, okay. How many people is going to do the bloody basics compared to people doing it right now?
I don't know. I mean, I just think it's and as Brennan said, it's the cost of getting to that level to start doing the base hitting. So
Listen, mate. The reason why I'm not basing a lot because of the repairs and time building and all that crap.
Yeah,
this is sort of it too. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, go on. Sorry.
There's a reason why Walmart is the largest retailer in the world.
It's cheap.
It's cheap, and they sell a lot.
Yeah, that's you said it, bro.
But the problem is this, and that's like you said, that's like saying that Battle Pirate should have a $5 a month subscription, and you shouldn't have to pay so much for certain things. You should have instant fix ships. As soon as they've died, you fix them again. That stuff. But the problem is the genre of this game is not like that. Well, the genre, the makeup of this game, the mechanics of it, how it works, it isn't. This is maximum input pointage-wise, as in dollar, for the top 3%. That's the way the game works.
Yeah, I mean, you can make money in 2 ways. Primarily, you can either, like you guys said, take a Walmart approach, cheap stuff for millions and millions of people, or you can make very expensive stuff for a few thousand people. And Battle Pirates, it's the latter, it's not the former.
Yeah, and it has always been that way. I have to say, it has always been that from day one. You may not think it, but it definitely has been since the very first raid.
The difference for me is like, are you getting one good, valuable money? Because then you spend. If not, you don't, right? And the game is for me on a thing where I have weeks when I have a lot of fun, and then I actually load some coin because I'm having a lot of fun, and then there are many weeks when I'm not having fun and I don't coin, and I don't even want to log in.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's when I find that most people rage quit, where their investment has been turned into a waste of money. So they heavily invest in something, and you're talking a few hundred, aren't you? And all of a sudden, overnight, it's like gambling on the stock exchange. All of a sudden, their stocks have just dropped down to nothing, and they were a dead cert when they went to bed. And they woke up in the morning, and it's crashed, and it's worth nothing. And they just go and commit suicide. That's it. They're done. And that's the rage quitter. That's generally what happened. They were doing fine. It was all good. All of a sudden, flip of a coin, it's over. And then they reevaluate. They have to literally look at that, and they look at the reality, and they go, what have I just done? And that's the rage quit. That's exactly what happens.
I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. Sorry, Mark, I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, mate.
I have a feeling that a lot of people might get very upset and rage quit due to this hope issue. To be perfectly honest, it's going to create a lot of issues for anyone who either hasn't got it and wants to hit bases, or someone who wants to be hit but has the hope and won't get hit. It's you buy the ship so that you can defend yourself, but you'll end up not being hit at all and just being bored.
And there's an issue on top of what you just said, Venom. It's like all the people who spent money, and I know we discussed that on the show on Wednesday, and Mark's one of them. People who spent money to get the hope during Bounty just to see it release for free, pretty much on a raid, because I didn't get it in Bounty, but now I can easily get on raid, for 20 million points. I mean, I'd be very pissed if I had spent money to get it.
Well, that was kind of my point in comparing the Bounty to the Omni, was the price. It's now they're giving it away. A lot of guys spent hours upon hours trying to hit bases and defend their base to get it, and now it's free.
Well, it's not just the first time, mate, because, you go back, when the Rage came out, the Rage was a great hull and it was having its fun. And yes, it needed to be calmed down, and it could have done things like the Omni would have helped massively and that sort of stuff, because the Rage flagship particularly, you would go in there and let it sort of get its aura up 3 times so you could get to the center of the base by then, that sort of stuff, But if the Omni was in then, that would have assisted and slowed things down. But no, what they do, they're going to bring the Axum out. Well, that's fantastic, okay? So not only do they bring the Axum out in the Bounty, which I also fought hard to get. So I straight away, as soon as I saw the map of that one single turret, I thought myself, my Rages are dead, that's it. And then they gave it to everybody. So not only did I lose a set of Rages, not only did I work hard to get that one item, but then all of a sudden they give it to everybody. So how frustrating is that?
I had forgot about that.
The thing is, about second grade, I don't understand why people are doing the bloody thing. I don't understand. You fall into Kicksai's hole.
Well, first of all, Tripod, it's fun.
For some, it is.
For
for people who want to be keeping up all the time.
Let's be honest, Tripod. It's as simple as this. This is a game where, nobody wants to be second.
Yeah,
if you want to be second, there's no point being here.
I know.
If you want to be second, you're playing a different game and you're content to stay in that second stream. So you're in the club levels, but not in the Premiership. And the people that are in the Premiership, they want to stay in the Premiership.
Yeah. I don't understand why people fall in that hole every time.
Well, Tripod, it's real easy for me. I can explain it to you this way. I got into the game to hit bases. I love hitting bases. When there's a lull, it makes me unhappy, and I see where Venom is pointing with the Hope and the Omni and everything else out there. If you can't go hit a higher level base, you're going to get bored.
The thing is, you fall in the hole again, because now some people are complaining about they're giving it out for free on the raids now. So who's the fucking idiot now? Sorry, my language.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, but I understand. Look,
but as far as calling the, I think it's unfair to say that the Hope is only 20 million, because to make the Hope effective, you need to spend 45 million. So it's not 20 versus 60. It's 45 versus 60, because we have all the specials and everything that we would put on the Omni. So it's not a third of the cost. It's 75.
Yeah, you need that set weapon. You've got to get the weapon to go with it. That's an absolute must.
Yeah, good point. I didn't think of the weapon. But still, people who got it all in Bounty, then were going to be double pissed.
Yeah,
but a lot of people went and got the bus in the Bounty, and they got the weapon, hoping that the Hope was going to come up. And I was like, no, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do the Hope 2 weeks after. And lo and behold, talk about eat your pants. There it was. I was like,
they said many times, Mark. They said many times, that, the plan is like the stuff from Bounty, top stuff from Bounty should be available a second time about 2 months after the Bounty. And this time they go like, they even wrote a poll saying it's an exception, but still is an exception that pisses people off.
You can't, it's goalposts, isn't it? And the thing is, these goalposts always seem to be in this game on a set of rollers.
And this exception has happened, one time out of 3? There's been 3 bounties so far?
That's the 4th one just happened, yeah, but it has happened.
Okay, 1 out of 4.
Two massive game changes in 50%, one being the Axum turret, and the other one now being that Hope.
Well, yeah,
Like,
but they've strayed from their own rule 25% of the time.
Yeah.
So there we go.
It's funny how even Axiom was very short-lived. I mean, the turrets usually have a long shelf life, but the Axiom didn't last long at all. A month later, we had holes that would survive the Axiom.
Well, because before that, nothing would, and then why would anyone base hit? And then they lose their PvP revenue, so they got to save it.
It's a cheap trick because they made everything everybody had useless with the Axiom, and then a month later made the Axiom useless with a new breed of holes. That this
I mean, it's
hard, strong pendulum swing every month. It's a bit too much.
well, it's standard MO.
I think
Yeah,
they should really get input from some of the top PvP players when they're doing anything with PvP related stuff. They spend a lot of time listening to I don't want to sound harsh, but listening to people who haven't put in maybe as much time or as much money to make their bases sort of able to defend against things like the King's Writ. So they're crying out, we need this and we need that. But even before the Hope, there was many bases that the Hope or the King's Writ wasn't getting into, and they were sitting there bored, not being able to hit the top before the Hope even came out.
Yeah, well, you're right, Venom. I mean, the King's Writ are not making to my base, and I don't have the Hope. And like when they made that poll on forum asking if people wanted a Conqueror or a Defender, my alliance organized in mass, and everybody, let's vote for a Conqueror, otherwise they're going to kill PvP again.
Yeah.
You know, guess what? They killed PvP again. Because people who don't do PvP, who don't like base hitting, are the majority. I mean, that's the unfortunate reality of the game.
That's exactly my point. They need to really listen to the top 100 within PvP to say, look guys, what way is PvP actually going at the top? Because the people who are top PvP are the ones that are focusing hard on PvP, and the ones that are commenting in the forums, on the polls, are majority the ones lower down that can't defend against the big guys. And that's where a lot of the problem comes from. That it's we can't defend against the top players. We're getting farmed. We need help, which kills the top guys. It kills our game.
I'm of the opinion that there should never ever be unbreakable bases.
Sorry?
Yeah. I think there should never be unbreakable bases.
Oh yeah. True.
Yeah, I mean that's no, I totally agree. And up to a period of time, there really wasn't for some time, right up until probably alliances started. I think that we didn't really have unbreakable. I mean, there were some really tough bases, but you could prep enough. And remember the days we used to do 4 preps, 5 preps, 6 preps, and then go in with the main hit and that sort of stuff. But prepping was quite cheap. Or when the alliances first came in, or it was a sector when they did the prep and that sort of stuff between us. We'd cycle through and you decide what type of prep that bit once and that bit once. But that 25% rule came in, and and then obviously the alliances thing, and then the one-click fleet started turning up. We never used to have one-click fleets. It was very, very rare and that sort of stuff. I suppose, DNX sort of like made a bit of a mess of things, but you could defend against it quite easily, and it wasn't that bad to counter. It's going back a long way, I know, but the mechanic for me, I think, is probably against tier level, OP9s and that sort of stuff. If you're hitting with a tier 7 set of ships, then maybe it should be an OP9 or above, sort of, when it comes in.
Not even OP9. I mean, if you have tier 7 Conquerors, I mean, should somehow be restricted to bases with OP10.
Yeah, with OP10 or above, and then those individuals that have been in the games for 5 years, but they haven't had a chance to do their OP, or I don't know, it's not my math, but there must be a combination of way of stuffing your base number of turrets that are at a certain level, certain things. I don't know. There must be something where to click on it and go, when you hit the locator, it should then automatically pick up a load of bases, maybe 5 every 10 sectors away, sort of stuff. And go, oh, you go. There's a whole selection for you, that fit the composite. It's a maths equation. That's all it is. It can't be that freaking hard to do.
Like, why can't they just base it around, say, medals, where you can't hit someone that's if you're above 500 medals, you can't hit anyone that's got 200 or less. That saves a lot of people waiting.
I don't know, mate, because a lot of alliances will probably just dump all the medals, never get hit. I don't know. You'd have really knockout bases that then don't. I suppose because then they win. You'd have to have the fact that if you lost in a base, the winner would. Yeah, they do get medals, don't they? So yeah, good point. I don't know. I hate medals anyway, so that might make them worthwhile.
At a certain medal point or a certain base level point, it becomes good enough where you're going to get hit. You're going to go up in medals naturally. It's just
Okay, so where's the problem with that? Because that's what happened in the fat. People drop themselves down loads, and then all of a sudden they entered at a lower level and caused trouble. So I'm not sure how that would pan out. I get the concept, and I sort of like it. But the thing you can't do is you can't turn down an OP10 from an OP10. It is an OP10 whether you like it or not. And then the player would decide, I'm ready to go OP10 now, or I'm not ready to go OP10. And he can't turn it up or turn it down. You can dump your medals as quick as you can gain them virtually.
But there's
Whereas
still
your OP is your OP.
There's still the issue of, well, to get the higher level docks, to get specifically this new raid fleet that's coming.
I agree. No, you'll be top. Right, very top. I get that. It's catch-22, isn't it?
And there's a lot of people there with the top level OP, but they still don't really know how to defend.
Well, they're not really. I'm not saying they don't know how to defend, mate, but they don't invest any time in their base because they haven't got the time. Don't be under no illusion. There is no time to do everything in this game unless you want to spend lots of money on it. There's just no time. Either you sit.
Especially now when you want to adapt, like I'm trying to adapt a few of my turrets, and even with a full load of base parts, I still have 14 days to go.
Mm.
You can't adapt that fast.
I've seen many people with 10 plus. You know, I've visited some bases that have got up to 10 top level turrets, all done, maxed out, and I'm like, blimey, that's triple what I've got nearly.
Damn.
Or double, anyway, you know. And I consider myself quite a reasonable sort of level, you know. I don't chase the ultimate, you know, because I just don't want to invest that much time and money, you know. And time is money. Sorry, so I do my investing in other areas, including TFC. So you know, it's just the way I like to do it. But you know, I know Venom is a classic example on here, and you know, it's Rum's the same now. You know, he's just joined a Super Alliance as well, so he's just taken himself to a next level. I'll be interested to see how that pans out over the next couple of months.
Well, how did you hear that?
Hey, mate, my ears to the ground.
I have not told anybody anything.
Didn't need to, mate.
Venom.
Hey, Mark has intelligence. He has the satellites, the drones, everything.
I think Venom has something to do with it. I'm not sure.
Rum, I know you, and I know who you are. I know exactly how to find things out. Don't worry. I keep an eye on people.
Hey, Venom, he knows where you live. Rum, he knows where you live too, man. You go to school, he knows everything. Careful.
I've got my own version of Google.
Like I said, MI6.
Oh dear. I clocked it, mate, straight away. Don't worry.
No worry. I've only got 4 level 9 turrets, and one of those popped out today.
I bet you in the next couple of weeks you'll see me doing more.
I'll do them as soon as I can.
I've got
Who needs
2.
turrets open?
I think I got 5 and the sixth one doing, or I actually got 6 done and doing the 7th, something like that.
Yeah. We got. I mean, you know, let's go back to let's rewind and let's go right back to the start of this thing here. I'm really intrigued to see what they're going to do next season, and hopefully next week we'll get to talk to somebody. With a bit of luck, we might get a guest on for the last show of the year, or the last Tuesday show anyway. If we do, it's one of the questions I'm going to be really intrigued to say. Well, how do you intend to? You know, they're not going to tell the chaplain's words, but if they come on, I'll be really intrigued to see how they're going to deliver something that they definitely failed to deliver on in 2017.
Can you ask them? Can you please ask them, how come we're gonna have these bloody big targets? And another question: since we got the new armor, we are nearly forced to retreat every time to get the benefit of the armor we got on the ships. And then we have to go back into the huge targets. And it takes a lot of time every freaking time.
sort of covered that myself. And basically, as far as I'm concerned, the targets are bigger because they take longer, and because they take longer, you don't get so many points. And because you don't get so many points, it takes you longer to get them. So,
yeah, and the retreat button has not changed compared to the armor, because the armors we're gonna need depends on if you're gonna get the benefit of the armor, you have to retreat. But the retreat button is still the same, 1 minute, thereabout. I don't remember. Is that true, about a minute?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
look, I mean, there's a classic example of it. So the problem with, I mean, is one way that did you notice something that's been really sneaky, quite clever, but quite sneaky that Kits have done? We all know there's been a huge memory issue lately and that sort of stuff, where memory purging has been terrible, memory bleed, and people have been getting lots of lag, and it's particularly been irksome when you've been going into the FM. So you go to hit your target, and by the time you're in there, your ships have run away. What do they do in the 115 target? Does everybody realize what they did?
Well,
They put that little target at the very right-hand side.
How hard is that thing to kill?
It's impossible. It just syncs everything up.
It's about 15 seconds to kill, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. A little hub.
How clever a little thing to do. I mean, yes, it's worth a few points. I know a lot of people are going around and just hitting those and then leaving, and that's great for low levels. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. But it's nothing to do with the target. It's only there to give you that chance for your spinning world disc to go round and round and round and round, and then give them an extra time. So your ships have already started, so you've gone past the 15-second period, and then you've got another 15 to probably 30 seconds to get into the target before your ships are doing anything that's constructive or actually taking any damage. That's the only reason it's there.
They stuck a band-aid on a cut artery. They've got a major problem, but to fix the major problem, put a band-aid on it. But
it's funny because I posted that on the page and people thought I was joking, and I'm not. I mean, my raid experience so far has been great. Like 0 lags, 0 issues.
Yeah.
Am I the only one?
No, I thought that myself. I mean, to be honest, I've had a good time this raid, I must admit, but I was prepped for it, But I know a lot of people aren't. There's been lots of angst about the videos that are going out and going, well, yeah, that's for the top levels and that sort of stuff. But I can only put it, and Ren's the same, I can only put out a video for the ships as I've got, so I'm only going to hit in the targets that.
And the lower level targets didn't change. I mean, I wish people weren't so lazy sometimes because, hey, I have the videos of my Tide Seekers doing level 60s, and that hasn't changed. It's the same Tide Seekers, it's the same target, it's the same. I'm not going to record another video this month because I have one last month that shows it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've got the page up now and I'm sort of locked on my page, but you can still go to the raid help there. And like you said, the 80s haven't changed and that sort of stuff. So there's the videos, there's all the tiers. Look, and when you go into the tier 6 stuff, there's a full set of targets. There's the 81, there's the 83, there's an 85. They've not changed.
It's all there, exactly.
Some good Burpees videos. They're good videos, well by a man who particularly, which is why we brought him in. He's really good at that mid-level stuff,
Burpee.
Yeah, he's good guy. Gets good quality videos, that sort of stuff, and he is specifically good about pointing out points to assist the mid-level player sort of stuff, and nurturing younger, newer members and bringing them through. And he'll take the time to do that.
Yeah.
But there are plenty. There's one of Ren's as well. So it's all there. And you can say the stuff that once it's available, there you go. There's a 45 target as well.
Yeah, and the raid help page, by the way, the link for raid help page is always the same. I mean, we change the main page from month to month, and you can still find the old raids. But if you just have that one link, raid help,
it's always here.
It's always the same.
It's always there. It's always available. Same as the one above it. Everyone keeps asking, "Oh, what's the current TLCs?" Well, it tells you.
People don't know
as well.
And I understand.
You guys every time new members want to join, you have to give them the guidelines. You have to go on this place, blah 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 blah. If you want to ask about this, blah 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 blah. People don't read.
TFC tutorial, eh?
Yeah, nearly.
I think that before they join, before you sign up for something, there's usually a little thing at the bottom where you have to write in some squiggly text to prove you're not a bot. I think that there should be something that you have to type in something into Google to search for before you join.
There is a function on Facebook groups where before you join it, you have to write a message. I don't know if it works where if you type in the right message, it'll come up, but you can certainly make someone write a message. You can read it and then confirm.
And then you get an auto answer with stuff, yeah?
So in theory, what you could do is write the message, just say, go to this website, and then come back with a specific answer to a question, and then they can join. So you know that they've definitely went there. They know that the stuff's there, so won't get us the same question repeatedly.
Like here, I'm not a robot. So this is our competition for the banner, which is obviously soon finishing and that sort of stuff. But that's the exact same thing there. So you put your real name in just so we can say who you are. Your in-game name is there as well. Upload your file or your photograph, whatever you've got. Put some messaging in there where you'd like your logo put and that sort of stuff. And then you tick this one, you tick the box. Just to say that I'm not a robot. So yeah, you can do that. I mean, you have to make people type words in. Do that sort of stuff. But
Sorry, I live in Russia. I'm a real robot.
yeah. You need to change your language cassette, mate. That's the thing.
Okay.
Anyway, right, we're done. So anyway, that's just me plugging the competition a bit as I was. We've had a few entries. It's been interesting. I don't think Venom's going to win because he just put his tag in. You lazy idiot.
Did we tell people what's the coin prize in the end?
Not the exact coin prize. We just said the coin prize is definitely worth having. So it's it
was 50, and then Liam topped up with a whole bunch, but I don't think we disclosed the quantity to everyone.
No, we haven't disclosed the quantity, but it's definitely
yeah, it's a lot more than the 50 I offered. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, well, Liam's the boss. He should definitely cough up, and he has done so. And that was off his own back. He just said he wanted to do it. So he felt. I think maybe men put some pressure on him subversively. I don't know.
Yeah, he had to one up me.
Sounds like Battle Pirates. Right, we're getting to that time. There's an hour and a half in. Blimey, where did that time go? I don't know. Right, let's have a look across the board. Brian, you got anything else you want to talk about before we disappear tonight?
No, I covered what I wanted to cover about the new special, so I'm all set.
Okay, and you've got that spreadsheet up on the page, you've done?
Yeah, the article has a bunch of different comparisons about the new special and 7 Guns versus 8 and what specials to use. It's on there now, so go have a look.
And I'll tag it underneath this video as well, so it's linked to this.
Sweet, thank you.
Cool. Heffy, what about you, buddy? Anything you want to cover? If he's still about, that is.
Beer time.
He's asleep. We've got to get to beer.
Beer time.
He's on silent. There we go. Jeff, are you still there, mate? We're doing well. Everyone's raiding. Look, they're like, I can't unmute my mic because I'm driving my submarines. There we go. Mike, have you got anything?
No, I really don't. I wish I would have something constructive to offer, but at this point, it's just there were a couple of glitches there in the beginning, and Kix jumped all over them pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean that was the spawning straight into the cloud if you went back in, wasn't it? The yellow.
That was horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a couple of people got tickets in for that, but they fixed it pretty quick because you can imagine just how many tickets they would have had that not being fixed instantly, and they virtually nailed it instantly, which they had to do. I don't know what was it, not a clue, but
I did put a ticket in for it. I won't claim that I was the first one, but I did put one in, and they answered it quickly.
I know they paid out on the tickets. I know they did.
They did.
But,
and then there was also the walls in the if you went in the hunter target several times. By the third time in, the walls were gone, and
didn't
you
pop
couldn't
up
use them to your advantage unless once you knew where they were.
Well, I know there was another one that people were driving up north and they were using the volley from the gluts to kill the damage of the cloud and that stuff. They turned that off pretty quick as well.
They fixed that pretty quick too.
Yeah, some guy posted a video everywhere, and then
Yeah, that's the last video you want to be seeing. It's sort of like something to our advantage because all of a sudden, it's like, I mean, good driving, but putting a video of a glitch in the system is just like, that's the underworld talking to each other, not putting it in your face sort of stuff. So I'm not surprised they turned that one off.
Right.
Otherwise, don't Kickside people got a agreement with you guys on TFCs without talking to other people?
No, not as far as I know, mate.
Well, it should, because when you go to a town meeting with them, it's a closed deal,
Well, I wouldn't know, mate, because I don't do that.
I'm just joking.
I do my own thing. Whatever's on YouTube is public. So if you want to put a bully up on saying that I'm abused, I'm taking.
This is a closed play. It's a closed page, Facebook page.
No, you just got to be a member to join. That's what you got to be. You just got to be asked to join, and you can come on that sort of stuff. So.
No,
ours is a bit different. We're there to enjoy and help people with the experience. That's what we're here for.
When Kickside exploited.
There's plenty of pages out there to rant on. If you want to rant on it.
Yeah, no, I'm not ranting. I'm just taking the piss.
That's all right, mate. Good. Okay. Peter, anything from you, buddy?
I'm just wondering what the VXP targets are going to look like.
Good question. Something to help you besiege, but also doing your defenders, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
I hope it's a new siege target, but then the defenders are screwed.
It needs to be something coming, or we're going to have 2. We're going to have to have something that sort of like you don't have to go and trigger, because otherwise how your defenders are going to get any rank, which are going to have to just die and then keep fixing them, because that's going to be horrendous, isn't it?
Retreat button.
Because that's expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, let's try and kill the hope. That's going to work well.
Yeah. Unless it's X in that particular one target. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what's in the VXP. I'm sure they're having a conundrum over that.
Well, I hope they bring the tokens back out that you could win in addition.
Yeah,
that would be certainly one way to do it. If they do it, there was an event a while back where if you finished the target, you get VXP tokens for defender hulls.
That's right. Yeah.
That was, I think, VXP weekend, either last VXP weekend or possibly the one before.
There was the one before, and they had one that was a piece of crap, and then the week after they had a second VXP weekend, and on the second one they had defender tokens.
Right.
Yep.
They could also take that justice token out of the gantry and make it a generic defender, or.
Yeah, and I know they probably don't want to do that because we build a lot less defenders than conquerors, but you know what? Even if they made the research time for that token like 3 days, I would still prefer that it was a generic defender token every 3 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree.
Imagine how happy people are to be able to do that.
I don't know.
I'm done.
It'd be good. It'd be good. Ren, anything you want to close with, mate?
No, just thank everyone for the input on the Hope versus Omni thing, and also the whole discussion on the Buccaneer. I thought it was very productive. Thanks, Brian, for all the math, and guys for all the different input. I mean, that was pretty cool, and I think we got down to kind of like 2-3 builds that are as good as they can be without us knowing the target.
Without knowing what's coming in the FM, yeah.
Yeah.
If you have entirely built your hulls before VXP weekend, I don't really have that much sympathy. just wait a minute, it's going to be fine.
Right.
Yeah, well, if you've got them all built completely, you could probably afford to do a refit. So.
Yep.
Rum, anything from you, mate?
Nope, everything's good.
Excellent. Tripod, dare I ask?
No.
Excellent.
No. Yeah, shut it down.
Ben, are you still alive?
Yeah, I'm still alive. I just have one last little rant. They released the Hope in Raid before fixing it. The range is still broken.
Yeah.
Why would you release the broken ship again? Why?
That is also going to be something that very few people got that Hope. Now the masses, well, not the masses, but probably the same amount again are going to get the Hope. Then there are now going to be another round of this isn't working. The indication it's only firing at 88 range because that's all you can see. And then obviously when you're defending and it's in a base attack, all of a sudden the person from the other side is going, this has got a crazy range. It's only supposed to be X. The visuals and the actual physical, neither of them relate to what it should be. We all know it should be 0.8.
It came out at 88 range, and then they tried to fix the visual glitch. But instead of fixing the visual, they extended the actual range. So the the actual is now really far.
I can absolutely, positively tell you that has definitely been looked at. It's been reported, and it's definitely been acknowledged as a problem. Where it's going, how it's going to get fixed, what's going to go on, I don't know.
Classic.
No, they know it. They know about it.
Classic.
You gotta fix it. It's not. It can't seriously be that hard.
Surely
it's just changing one set of numbers.
It's Sunday.
Well, they let a raid target ship in their whole raid with starting in the clouds, so kicks QA lol.
This is Kixeye we're talking about, not a competent software developer.
No, come on, let's
They're probably good at software development. They're probably understaffed.
Let's us remain neutral. Let's just hope they fix the darn thing. That's all I want. I just want the thing to do as it should do. Good. Right.
Oh, and also welcome, Rum.
Thank you very much.
I'm ready to think never target.
So when does the learning take place?
Off there. Right.
Off there.
Okay, then. Thanks all for turning up. Look forward to speaking to you all on Tuesday. Hopefully Liam will be on Tuesday. He better be. He's supposed to be hosting. And with better luck, we'll have somebody else to come and spread some joy with us. Well, clearly we're going to review how things are getting on in the raid. And if we don't get a chance to do that, then bear in mind we've got a sort of a special show on the 26th, which a few of us are going to go through with. And just recap on a few things that have happened. Not necessarily the serious stuff that's happened over this crazy year in PP, but some of them were maybe amusing things that have happened as well. Like spying on people's bases, and as Venom's doing right this second.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, Rum, good luck in your ventures. I'm sure it's going to be a rocky road for you, mate.
Why is it going to be a rocky road?
We'll
What adventures? Where's he going?
He's gone the 7 Seas venture, isn't he?
Sinbad in the 7 Seas.
Right. I'll say good night all.
Good night.
Good night.
And good luck.